I believe now we can speak to Hussein Sarayreh, who is the Programs and Research Manager at the Politics and Society Institute. He joins me now live from Amman. Hussein, good to see you. Good to have you here with us on TRT World. About 15 minutes ago or so, I was speaking to my correspondent, Nizar Sadawi, out of Gaza. And there's this one thing that he told me which really stood out for me. He says that people within Gaza are suspicious whether or not this humanitarian pause or truce will hold. And they're basing this judgment on past experiences, past conflicts with Israel, because there have been instances where Israel has violated ceasefires. Let me get your thoughts on this. How likely do you think is it for this humanitarian pause to hold?
Okay, actually, I believe that a temporary ceasefire or truce and letting the humanitarian aid coming into Gaza through Rafah, which includes also exchange of prisoners, could be built upon for a long-term cessation of military operations, maybe, but we can say that it's all built on the demonstration of good faith, let's say, from the both sides. But we must release that or take into account that Israel will not accept to appear as a loser, and a complete ceasefire means Israel's defeat. Unless Israeli is taking into consideration that showing good faith toward the world, and also that will help to improve its image before it's losing many of its alliance around the world. So especially when we are talking about that there is a popular movements all around the world are taking into place and against Israel. So what we are talking about now is that building this terms of good faith that could help Israel in its position globally. In addition, we have to say that as Israel is losing economically and must reread the scene again. And I think this truce will help Israel to rebuild its position and reread the situation around that could build a new strategy to defeat Hamas, because the main objectives of this military operations is to defeat Hamas. Hamas is not defeated. We think that everything will get back again to the first square.
Hussein, assuming that this truce holds and humanitarian aid is brought into Gaza, exchange of hostages takes place between Israel and Hamas, what do you think will be Israel's next strategy after this truce period is over? What do you think Gaza would look like post this truce?
I think Israel is going to build a new strategy of dealing with Hamas, not on the ground. Especially it will depend on the airstrikes again. And the airstrikes must be well managed with a very critical military advising from the outside Israel, and I'm talking here about the U.S. support and also European support in military operation from the air. Because when we are talking about ground operations, it's not working enough. Unless that Israel is asking for displacement all over the north of Gaza, and the truce will be continuing till we see the north of Gaza is completely empty, and after that Israel could defeat Hamas in just this region, not all of Gaza, but as an end of these military operations, I don't think that the negotiations are completely done with this. Israel will complete its operations again in Gaza, and especially will depend on the airstrike, because on the ground it loses a lot.
Hussein Sarayreh, thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.